Welcome to Sports Talk in the Mancave, where we do one take only. And we're starting with some somber news actually today because Kobe Bryant, of course, passed away unexpectedly. And we have a big Laker fan here that's really feeling the impact. And Gilbert, what do you want to say about this?
Fighting back the tears.
I don't even know where to start, guys. To be honest, there's two sports. I think celebrity sports figures, however you want to call it, two people who have ever kind of brought me to tears, pretty much, and that was Magic Johnson. I still remember when he contracted the AIDS, the HIV virus, and Kobe Bryant. I think we all kind of well, me personally, I grew up kind of watching him as a kid and evolving, and I was always a Laker fan. I was never a big I was a Kobe fan, but then I was more of a like the brand, about the Lakers. But since he played for the Lakers, I embraced him, and I thought he was a great player. I think that he started off the way he started his career. A lot of people looked at him as standoffish, aloof, snobbish, stuff like that, and he went through a lot of turmoil in the beginning. And the way he ended, his career and the career after that, I think that it was amazing.
Yeah, you have to remember he was a kid when he started. I mean, he an 18-year-old,
18 years old.
18-year-old in the NBA, and he was a kid. So obviously, you do some growing up, and that's
It's
what.
tough, yeah, and of course, it's totally unexpected for this to happen. The person he became, and he was very giving of his time, and was always there for a lot of people. It hit harder for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that his work ethic is what is the biggest thing about him, and he couldn't tolerate people that didn't have that work ethic. That was their sport, that was their job, and he took it very seriously. And he's probably one of the most dedicated players that there was.
Yeah,
Yeah, being a Spurs fan, all of us were Spurs fans. Us three, we got to see a lot of Kobe Bryant in the playoffs,
right.
and we got to see the best of Kobe Bryant, which to us was terrible. I grew up hating Kobe Bryant
Yeah.
on the court because he was so good. He was so invincible. Physically, mentally on the court, really. I hated playing against him. I hated the Spurs play against him in the playoffs because I never thought we were gonna win. So seeing something like this happen to Kobe Bryant, the invincible Kobe Bryant, it's just a wake up call. Like you never know what can happen. Like everything could be gone in the blink of an eye. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Like if this happened to him, it could happen to anybody.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that I mean we all have. I mean, three of the four here we have daughters, so I think that also kind of you saw the way how he was with his kids, with his daughters, and how he wanted to live through them and through their dreams, and he gave them that mentality, that work ethic, and we kind of saw him all, especially through social media. So we kind of saw him evolving, as this global icon after basketball when it came to he won an Oscar award, and he was doing some great things, and somebody said it best, like it's kind of like, since we have all this media and all this stuff, it's kind of like you saw a family member die, kind of in a way, just because of you saw the way he was evolving with his kids and with all turmoil he went through and he overcame.
There's very few of us that can embrace retirement, but he was one of those that really embraced retirement, and
Yeah.
he became a family man. You could see it, the way he was with his daughters, taking her to games and being coaching them, and so that's what he embraced at that time, and even think his daughter had the same mentality. She thought she was really gonna be something. She was already
Yeah.
ready to go to UConn.
Yeah, and I was happy to see the way the NBA has responded in the different types of respect that they're paying him, with the Spurs holding the ball for 24 seconds, the other
Each team holding the ball for
8
24.
seconds, and both his numbers, and the Mavericks retiring 24. That's amazing as well. So yeah, that's a lot of respect to pay to Kobe.
It wasn't until after he retired where I really, really, really like started to look up to Kobe, because I realized the greatness that it was over when he retired, and I realized like this guy was great. and his work ethic and his mentality. Like everybody would say it, but I just hated him while he was a player, and then I just realized after he retired how good he was and what I watched
Yeah.
as he was a player.
We know that during that last season he wasn't the player that he used to be.
No.
But it was nice to see that one game. Was it the last game that he
His
played?
last game where he scored
Where,
60.
where they just kept on feeding him the ball and he brought that team back to win that game. That was an amazing display. I love watching that game. I watched that game. I just give it to Kobe, give it to Kobe, give it to Kobe. And he took over and he played like Kobe.
I mean, something else that I think that that has come out of this and kind of gonna pick up on what Carlos is that, I mean, it hits us hard where like nobody's invincible, you know, and just like I said, like you said, I mean, you could be walking your dog and somebody can run you over and you know you're defenseless and stuff like that, and after this, it's brought people together, in a way, like if you see people are kind of mending fences and like this like just meaningless riffs that people have, they're starting to say, you know what, it's not worth it.
Exactly like Jay Williams said. You know, when I heard Jay Williams speak and how emotional it was and what he said, like it just, I'm pretty sure it made everybody just reflect on their own lives and realize like the way he said it, let that shit go. That's what he said. And he's right, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad for all his wife, his daughters, mother, father, sister.
Sad
So
situation.
sad. Yeah,
It's a sad
terrible,
situation,
terrible.
And I'm sure the NBA will move past it in time. But I think we should move on, and I think that we pay
can do a
respect. Maybe
book,
later on we will pay a little bit more respect to Kobe as well. But let's move on to talk about what is going on this week, which is the NFL Super Bowl.
The Pro Bowl.
Super Bowl,
No?
boom.
No, not the Pro Bowl.
Pro
These
Bowl.
two guys right here, man.
Super Bowl.
So let's move on. Well, I think we talked a little bit. We didn't make our picks last week.
We talked a little bit
because we
about
wanted
the
to hold
offenses
up.
and defenses.
Yeah,
and
we talked a little
running
bit about
games,
that.
passing game.
And this week they're just kind of, they already have everything in place. They're just going through the motions now, getting ready for the game. Who do you think is going to be more nervous?
I think it's gonna be the Chiefs, honestly. I think Mahomes is still, you know, in his third year, but second year as starter, right? So I think it's gonna be the Chiefs.
And I think that, you know, every game that they've played now in the playoffs is a big game. They've given up some big leads. And I don't know if that's going to happen again or not. But I think that as soon as the game gets started, as soon as he completes his first pass, as soon as all of this happens, I think nerves are out. They're going to be playing football.
There's so much adrenaline going, you know, and I think that the style of play for Kansas City, they're more susceptible to coming out nervous, just because the 49ers are more ground and pound to work. You know, KC's more of an explosive attack, so you might see Mahomes coming out, overthrowing some passes and just
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't get it out. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier and it's a lot safer just to hand the ball off and, you know, make your block. And
No, and Garoppolo's been there a couple of times, right? And so
As
he
a
hasn't
backup.
as a backup, but he's been there, and that makes a difference. Just being there,
He knows the
around
environment.
The environment.
The environment, yeah.
Coach Andy Reid's been there, of course, and maybe I think he could be the ground that they need to keep that team settled. And I think he'll do a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
But I still kind of feel that Kansas City is going to be the more nervous team, and they might give up a few points initially and then have to make another comeback.
And this is good for Shanahan also to redeem himself for the
Falcons.
offensive debacle that happened when he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons.
Yeah.
So I mean, both and Andy Reid as well when they lost the Super Bowl. So I mean, to see who learns best from the experience, and what team overcomes all the jitters, especially the early jitters.
It's I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah. Is there any particular player that you're going to be looking for and saying, I want to see what this guy's going to do?
Nick Bosa for me, man. Nick
Nick
Bosa.
Bosa. Yeah.
Offensively?
Offensively, I'm of course Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
You know, he's the X factor in that offense, I believe, even more than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hearing Dion today on an NFL special, or he was on some show, and he was saying if he was the defensive coordinator, what he would do was he would double team Tyreek Hill and double team Kells and make Kansas City run the ball.
I think they have more weapons. than
Yeah,
just that.
they have more
He
weapons.
says
and,
they have.
and
He says they have three number ones.
if you double
Miko
team
Hardman.
You know.
if you double team two guys,
Yeah.
I mean somebody's gonna be running around open.
Right.
And
I'm surprised
the
Dion didn't
tight
say that he
end
could
is not
cover him.
That's what
no.
he said.
One on one.
You rush one.
Dion.
You rush
10 back.
one and count to 10 and then rush. No, then
Honestly,
you can run with the ball.
I think you gotta put pressure on him. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
think
think you
you
gotta
gotta
put pressure.
I think if they put pressure up the middle, I think it'll make a big difference, and maybe Mahomes can't do what he usually does.
It's gonna be interesting to see what they do to try to
Slow down.
slow
the
down that
Yeah,
offense.
'cause-
Yes, it's gonna
Yeah,
be very
but
interesting.
that San Francisco rush is good. They can do it. They can stop them. And I think, and
And I think Kansas City defense will step up like they did.
I'm more excited for
Last
his food.
Oh, that Super Bowl party.
I think we have a video from last year's.
we have a video from last year. That's right. Go back and check that out. We'll maybe put up another one this year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
food should be good.
Your pick?
My pick. All right.
I'm getting into the picks already.
Yeah, let's get straight to the picks.
Let's go to the picks.
I'm gonna say that San Francisco's gonna come out early. They're gonna score some points. I think it's gonna be a late surge by Kansas City coming back, and they'll win by 3.
You think they'll win by 3?
Yeah.
I really don't think that they might give up the opening score, but I don't think they're gonna fall behind 10 or 24 like they did in the other game. I think that it's gonna be their defense will step up and slow them down. And of course offensively, I think they're gonna be good for at least, what do we say, 29 points? Do we have the 9? Yeah, so
All
I'm
right.
going with Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I'm
Two for
going-
Kansas City.
I'm going with Kansas City. What I think is gonna happen is
Oh my God.
I think they're gonna get some early stops with their game plan to come out against the run, and I think they're gonna score early and they're gonna put a lot of pressure for Jimmy G to throw the ball, and I don't think that's gonna be a good game plan for San Francisco. So I think the scoring early is gonna be the difference. If Kansas City can score early, they're gonna put pressure on them to throw the ball, which is not their strength.
Not only that, but Kansas City stopped Henry last
Exactly.
game, and so they can stop.
They
the
can come
running.
up with a game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think we talked about it last week that the San Francisco running game is a little bit different from the
Right.
Titans running game. There's a little bit more in this direction, and I think that I'm gonna stick with the motto where defense wins championships, and I think that the 49ers defense is just in another level, and since he's so young right now, Mahomes, I think they're gonna put enough pressure on him, so he's gonna cave in this year. He's gonna win one, but not this year.
I don't think he'll take it
San
this year.
Francisco. All right,
San Francisco.
3-1. San Francisco cannot get to 6 Super Bowls before the Cowboys. So.
The best way for them
Can't
to stop
happen.
their running game is to go out and score a couple of touchdowns early
Exactly.
and make them throw the ball.
And Vegas doesn't even know. I mean, look at the spread, -1.5. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what?
No, it's
Yeah,
a toss-up,
you
man. They're great
go here, you
teams.
go
They're
there.
great teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so those are our picks. Hey, I want to a few little things real quick. Quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers. Where do you think he's going to end up? Is he going back to the Chargers or is he going somewhere else?
Hell no, not the Chargers.
He moved to Tampa Bay already, didn't he, or something like that? But
I don't know. I mean, I think he's more of a. Honestly, I think he's more of a backup now.
I think he's going to the Colts.
I don't know if you think so.
you think he's
He's
more of
going
an
to the
announcer now?
Yeah, more of a retiree. Maybe
I
he
think
can
he-
embrace
I think
retirement.
he's going to the Colts.
To the Colts?
I think he's going to the Colts.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I
It
can
might
see him
work.
playing the
Yeah.
Colts.
I mean,
That,
they have a
I
great
think
running
I
game.
really think that he has something left. Not much,
He has
but
a few picks left.
A few picks left in it.
there's a few picks in there for him.
Okay, Tom Brady.
I think I'm gonna trust Dana White on this one. He's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah.
I think
Really?
the Chargers are gonna throw a bundle of money at him
Yeah.
because they need the attendance. So I think they're gonna overpay, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get Tom Brady to be a Los Angeles Charger.
Yeah, if I had to say anything, I would say that he's entertaining other teams, going and talking to them, but I think he'll remain a Patriot.
At the end of the day, he signs back.
Yes, he's
They don't want him to go anywhere. I don't think the Patriots will pay him the 40
no,
million
not
that he
not
wants.
anymore. No.
and somebody else is going to pay him the 40 million. And I think just to prove a point, he's going to probably end up one of those two.
And
Raiders or
and
Chargers.
he really deserves that money because he's been known for
Taking
taking
pay
cuts so that he could have a great team around him.
And this is the
And-
last 1 or 2 years. He can just play it out with making good money.
Yeah, and
You know? The guy
Well,
deserves it,
I
man.
don't know. He was at that UFC with the
Yeah,
owner
no,
of
it makes sense.
with the owner
Yeah.
of the Vegas
Yeah.
Raiders.
It makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they'll give him the bag of money instead. I mean, I don't know.
I think both of them are gonna
Yeah.
offer him.
You never know. One more. Dak Prescott. Where do you think he's going to be next
he-
year?
he's gonna
The
be a
bench?
cowboy.
He's gonna be a bench
he's a
player?
cowboy. He's gonna be a pretty rich cowboy. He's gonna be making a lot more money than he did last year.
See, the thing is that what I think what his agent is doing is that the salary cap keeps going up. There's the Mahomes contract's gonna go up. He's gonna get it. There's like 300, 400 million, something ridiculous. They're saying he's gonna get. So no matter what, by default market value, he's gonna get more money.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But when this year?
well, he has to. If they franchise him,
can't.
it's bad for the cap because all the money is stuck in 1 year. So I think they have to kind of sign him to a longer deal.
Okay.
And the Cowboys have to get some of that Mamba mentality. They have to work their butts off if they have supposedly on paper a great team, but
I think they have a lot of holes.
And
They have a lot of holes. They need a tight end. They need a pass rusher. They need a safety. They do have a lot of holes.
they're filling them up right now. I think they're bringing in defensive linemen from that was with Green Bay that had been released or had
Well,
something or
they
another.
need to, they need
They're
to
bringing
fill
him
up
in.
their holes a little bit and see what they can do.
I think they filled up their biggest hole in their head coach.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't. Yeah, I think it's good to have a change. It's good to have a change and just a different philosophy of TJ. Maybe Kellen Moore will call better plays. Not that he called bad plays, but I mean I don't know.
Everybody blamed the play calling. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a
We
good idea.
started off with Kobe, and it seems like everything's very calm.
Everything's very calm.
we kept that same.
I know.
I know, right? Like,
You
yeah,
know what? Let's
come
argue about
on.
something.
Yes,
Dak Prescott deserves
10 million.
to be behind Cooper Rush.
No argument there.
No.
Let me try again. Let me try
We're
again.
still in the somber mood.
The Lakers
agree.
will not make the playoffs.
The Lakers will go to that little thing half season. Well, yeah, it's almost half
Spurs
season.
will be in the lottery.
No argument there either. Hey, you know what? Let's do the kickoff. That's what you wanted to talk
That's what
about.
I wanted to talk about. I don't know. I guess you all didn't see the new rule, right?
No, we did not.
So it's a new rule that they implemented in the
Pro Bowl?
Pro Bowl, where if you want an onside kick, you could take the option of taking instead of onside kicking, you take the ball at your own 20, but you get a 4th and 15. So you get a 4th and 15. If you don't convert, the other team gets the ball, but you automatically get the ball after you score if you take that option. So I don't know what y'all think about that. I kind of liked it, to be honest, because I think like what are the odds you're gonna get the onside kick? So I think it gives teams, besides giving teams a better chance of scoring and tying up the game, I think it makes the game in general more interesting.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You play 60 minutes and almost 60 minutes to get your lead, and then you're just going to give the ball right back to see if it's going to be difficult 4th and 15 to get the first down, but it's more difficult to recover an onside kick. So it's not fair. It's not fair.
Who is it not fair to?
The team that is ahead.
Okay, but when it's their turn to actually say I want the 4th and 15, it's fair. Everybody's playing with the same rules. They might benefit from one game from it one game. They might not benefit from the other
no.
game.
I don't think it's
I
fair
don't
to
like
the
it.
team that's kicking off. I mean, they get it back, but 4th and 15, come on.
You know who is fair. You know who is fair
Give me
too.
4th and a yard.
You know who it is fair. You know who it is fair to, David. It's fair to the fans
Exactly.
because they're gonna get the entertainment.
Exactly. It was a lot.
It's all about the fans. All about entertainment. I don't think it has anything to
but
do
why,
with anything.
why the 20?
At the 20, at your own 20.
Dude, why don't they put it at the 35?
I mean, that would make it more interesting. But, I mean, 4th and 15, if you convert, you're at your 35, right? Like, one play.
Yeah, but if you convert, you're at the 50.
So, but, a penalty can get you the first down, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
personal foul. and
Yeah,
stuff like
personal
that.
foul.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they want to just bring more
interference,
entertainment to the
pass
game.
interference.
All it does is
More
give the game more entertainment because, Like, we know there's an onside kick. Do we even watch it? Like, okay, it goes out of bounds. Or it doesn't even just
No,
take it.
actually.
Well, the
No,
way
they-
they did it
they-
now,
It is more
yeah.
collision too. I mean, you know,
True.
you
the
know,
way they did it now, it's almost impossible to get it unless you have a really good kicker that can spin it different ways and do all this stuff.
Now there's
The
all
double
these rules.
bounce,
There's all
the
these rules on
double
the
bounce.
onside kick now that basically make it impossible to get an onside kick.
Yeah, well,
So-
it might work. You think they're going to implement it?
Nah, I don't think they will.
No,
I wish they would.
You might as well try.
It was watching it was
yeah.
exciting.
Maybe in the preseason.
I think the XFL is going to come up with a couple of wrinkles, and the NFL is going to have to be forced to do some changes.
Now,
as well.
the XFL for the
They started
for the
already.
onside
Yeah.
kick is not going to be different, but for the regular kickoffs are different, and that's nice because they minimize the collision because they're only 5 yards apart, and they can't move until the guy catches the ball. Now, if the ball goes out of bounds, they get the ball at the 45. If the ball goes into the end zone, they get it at the 35.
I think that's better than the NFL because in the NFL it's kind of like they eliminated the kickoff completely now. Like, how many of them get returned?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
nothing.
don't.
So here they're going to be
Yeah.
returned.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's less because football's a collision sport, and it kind of lessens it where they wait for the guy to catch it, so they're kind of going at the same time instead of just kind of just kicking it off and everybody's just running.
Yeah, because the kickoffs now, it's not good at all. I rather just take the ball at the 25 all the time.
I actually miss those days.
Because you return the ball. Most of the time, they don't get to the 25 unless you're playing against the Cowboys. They get to the
That's why a lot of
35,
people
40.
don't need it.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
don't take it out of the end zone anymore. Like,
Yeah, they don't take it out. So you know,
don't like that.
right away you're at the 25. That's great position for me on first down.
I think that's another way of making the game more interesting. Like, now you can't kick it out of the end zone because then they get at the 45. Like, do you really want that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, very good. Okay, well,
All right. So hey, I
almost
think
said
we got some bookets in us. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be about the game
Oh,
itself.
do we?
Yeah, maybe you might. You
yeah,
might have a
I
booklet.
think I have a booklet.
Well, let's start with your booklet
Okay,
first.
let's start with my bucket. I really believe that sometime in the very near future, the NBA is going to come up with a Kobe Bryant Mamba Mentality Award for the player that is the hardest working, that does very well throughout the season. I think that's going to be an award that will be given. Book it.
Oh, he did forget.
Let me just kind of pick up on what you were saying. There's some players that kind of embraced his philosophy, and some players that didn't. A lot of these, like kind of like that little group of LeBron and Carmelo, they all talk to each other, different teams. They have this love fest, and there's players like Kyrie and Russell Westbrook where they don't want to be friends with anybody.
No,
and they have that Kobe mentality where like you're not my friend, you're my enemy, and that's where he kind of got that reputation for being aloof and and pompous.
Yeah.
That's the way I think.
Yeah.
When we would play sports, that's the way we were. You're
That's
playing
your
against
enemy,
someone.
that's your
That's your
enemy.
enemy, man. You know.
Yeah, and
While
I think
you're
it
on
all
that
started with
field,
the
the
AAU
court,
stuff
you're
and all that
gonna.
stuff. But yeah.
True.
Anyways, go ahead.
True. It's true that those kids, they've been friends since they were younger, since they were
Yeah.
kids, My bucket, whatever the over is for the Super Bowl, take the over. Book it.
It's gonna be 10. It's gonna be 9-10. 9-10.
9 to 10.
Okay.
We need that for-
Last year, what year was it that I really? This is gonna be a high scoring Super Bowl, and boom, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, so I really don't know.
All right, Gilbert, do you have a booklet?
Yeah, I have one. It's kind of, we're going to go out on a limb here. And I think that LeBron is going to dedicate the rest of the season to Kobe Bryant. And I think he's going to win the championship for the Lakers. And it's going to be dedicated to the Bryant family.
I think all this did was just motivate him more.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Lakers.
Book it.
All right. And my bucket will go back to the Pro Bowl, and I'm going to say that in the preseason, they will start using that rule so that they can implement it for the NFL this coming season. Book it. I forgot. I couldn't see the camera. I thought it was over there. Book it.
I think we need to do this. Book it.
Over there, book it.
Hey,
All right, guys. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. It's going to
It's
be
gonna
fun.
be a good one.
I can't
Lot of
wait.
food.
Yeah,
Lot
it's
of
gonna
food.
be great, man. So no problems, guys. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Don't drink and drive.
Very good. I like that.
drink responsibly.
That's